ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Bizarre Briefing. It's been a little while. This is the August/September edition for 2020. I'm Bryce Castillo, joined this month with John Rail, Corey Cranfield, and our remote editor back again, Heather Gardner, who is in studio today. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
Heather is what is the nature of Heather joining us, John?
Frankly, I wanted to see how she's getting so much done the way she gets it done. And I just wanted to see if there was any way either I could help her or just, maybe even learn a couple tricks.
Oh, very nice.
I want to see how she is doing what she does, because when she describes her circumstances to me, sometimes I'm like, how did you get all this stuff done?
Do you do you know, like, off the top of your head, Heather, are there things that we don't know about? Are there any secret tips that you're doing, or what is it?
Well, I learned today, for example, she was syncing all the audio by hand.
Oh, you don't need to do that.
No.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
And I'm still pretty fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have doing the claps. Like, I don't even think that we need to do claps because it's so good about syncing up camera audio.
But that's what makes it easy for the manual syncing for me, where it doesn't take that long.
Right. Because it's very visible. I mean, that's part of it. You see the big spike right at the beginning. Okay, interesting.
I went to a small private school, so, they didn't really teach me things.
Yeah, you got an A in spike noticing. It wasn't an A, it was like a garden. There was a little flower garden on the report. Just the hippie. Is the hippie new age school joke, does that still work in 2020?
I don't know if it does. I mean, I get what you're going for. Like, she got a half moon in spike audio recognizing. But
we got a blue in aura. Well, thank you again for joining us, Heather. We'll talk to you here in a little bit as we go on. First topic up. We are doing this show on September 22nd. This would be early for our September show, very late for our August show. It ended up being a thing where we were doing another Modern Rogue shooting intensive. Yes. It was about a month this time, a little bit longer than the last time. And it just ended up being a thing where I kept not being able to get the last episode out until really, really late. And we kept pushing off this episode. Brant is not joining us here because he's also had time away. And so it's made it difficult a little bit to do it. So we're kind of doing a joint August and September edition of the Bizarre Brief.
I'll accept that.
Okay. And by doing it a week early for the September episode, it means it might come out at a reasonable time in October. So the Modern Rogue shooting, we never came up with a good word for it. It was an intensive, it was a schedule, it was a crunch, it was a session.
I'd go with crunch, yeah.
By the end, it definitely started.
Yeah, it was pretty crunchy.
Yeah, but if you didn't know from last time, along with our normal deadlines and stuff, we were filling in any extra time, any free time available to shoot a bunch of Modern Rogue episodes ahead of time because Jason's wife is immunocompromised, and so he was staying here at the studio for a contiguous amount of time so that there would be no back and forth exposure opportunities for her. And so we filled about 4 weeks, was it?
This in August?
This time,
This was 4 weeks. It's full month of August.
A full month of August. Yep. With we got about 30 episodes done.
Just a hair under. We got 27, I believe, episodes filmed.
Okay.
And then of course we got a bunch of ads and all kinds of other things shot as well.
Yeah. And it was intense. I think we went into it better equipped than the first time. Yep. We had a built-in day off. Mm-hmm. We always took Sunday off. And it was nice, even when we were adding Scam Nation stuff into the mix, to say, like, we can move stuff around and clear off a day. Everyone knows you have this free space.
Yeah, the lessons learned was in June we did 2 weeks straight. I think it was 16 straight days, and that's too much. So doing that tight of a schedule in that short amount of time is.
And in that June one, we did take a day. Like it was a sort of thing where a day just came up.
Yeah, it just came up. Yeah, but it was there was no planned days off.
Yeah.
That was too much. This time we did a month. We planned days off, and that worked much better. But also a month is still a little too long.
It's too long.
So,
yeah, I could tell everyone was kind of fraying a bit by the end there.
for sure. So I think in the future we will do 2 weeks again.
Okay.
But we will plan in some more hardcore days off. Like, no, we are taking these days off here.
Yeah.
And try to schedule it just a little bit better.
And it may be a thing where if we know we only have 2, because I think one thing that we ended up doing here, which we did a little bit in June, but especially here, it became very easy to say, because it was so long, like, we can push for the rest of the day. We can call it today. Where, I mean, it would obviously be more intensive on a day-to-day basis. But I think if we had a 2 week schedule, and we know, hey, we got to hit the ground on these things, compact and clean and concise. I think we could still be very effective with a lesser amount of time.
We were going to try to do even better planning this next time around, because we'll be doing it again here in October or November.
Okay.
Still working on the dates on that. But the thing, so we'll do the 2 weeks, we'll do days off, and then we'll also do even better planning of the episodes, so we have less to do the day of to figure out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of we hope to make it a little more streamlined.
Yeah.
Next time around.
That sounds, and that sounds sustainable.
Yeah.
Right. Like a month on, even good, even a good version of that, that was filling in a lot of previously carved out spaces. And so that's tough. But I feel like, as long as all the forces that be are cool with that, 2 weeks is very,
I think
very
we'll
doable.
probably also do more guests this next time around too, if I was guessing.
Okay. Yeah. Because we did have a number of
things are
guests
calming down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the virus goes. And also we have better testing. We can get the test within an hour.
Okay. That's right.
So
yeah. I mean, even myself, I got tested near the start of this August session, and that came back in like 9 or 10 days. I got another one about a week or so ago, and these were free. CVS health insurance covers it. That came back in 2 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, that's still good. I think for myself, as I'm still here. We have people staying here for business reasons. If we have guests continuing to come in, like, I will probably end up trying to get a test every other week, assuming it is possible, only because like the response times are pretty good even for those free CVS ones. And also just like for my own self, like I was talking to someone and I kept in my head, I'm a judgy type person. I'm a type J, whatever the J is on the personality trait. I'm very judgy. And he was telling me like, oh yeah, I went to my friend's house and they were having a birthday dinner for another friend. And then I went and visited my other friend. I was like, you're seeing a lot. You're visiting a lot of people. But I think also this person up until very recently was only working digitally or remote. And I think most of the people that he was in like it was his own bubble. His bubble ended up being able to be friends, all 100% friends, where I have been able to keep my bubble pretty much all work stuff so that we can do these shooting things without a lot of issues. But I also need to see some people. And so I'm going to just...
Do you?
Yes, I do. And so, now that testing should be more available, and because there are, not to dive too deep into this, but there's still a good amount of false negative reports. If you are not the right time from an exposure event, it may still not show up. And so all of these things conspire to make me want to at least try and get a test every couple of weeks. And not feel like I'm depriving the system from it, So that's certainly that. Were there any big? I know we've started to have some of these videos from this this shooting session come out. What was the big one? Was Desperate Defense.
Desperate Defense was huge. Those are going to be some fun episodes coming up, man.
Yeah, we only did 3.
Yes,
is that right for this coming round of Desperate Defense, but also. We kind of did the opposite for this round of Desperate Defense. It feels a little bit like before it was like, hey, here are 5. We're going to shoot 5 little ones, 4 or 5, and they're going to come in a week and they're going to test a thing and come back tomorrow. These are a slightly different format.
Yeah.
It's very heavy on the cinematic stuff.
Yeah. We went full on narrative for the demonstration part.
Yeah. How did you feel about that, John? Because you did direct, or you shot.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah, I took the lead on one of them, but it was fun. I loved it. The idea that kind of got squashed immediately by me and Brian was them saying okay, these are the narrative beats we want to get, and here's our day to shoot it. It's like, one day, like we're not gonna get this done.
All three of them
Yeah.
in one day. Yeah,
Like, it's gonna be like
especially after. So the first one that was shot, I don't think it feels fun. This will probably come out after that all airs anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the first one of those is using a ping pong paddle.
Yep.
And I don't think I was there that day. I think I was there for the beginning of the. Oh no, I didn't. I showed up and then I left because it ended up being a thing where we weren't doing multi-camera stuff. But that took y'all all day, right? And then that's just the cinematic. That's not even them sitting down and talking about here's you do this
possible.
And how effective it is, how realistic it is. And the other two after that were smaller, I would say.
I think they were quicker shoots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partially quicker just because we learned from it. And Jason he actually had like full written out. You move from here to here, point A to B. You grab the person by the collar. So we had like all the steps scripted out. So it made shooting much faster.
Right. And even then, each of those were basically on their own day for various reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we could have if we really got in early and stayed, but we're working around happy hour a lot. I think that was one good thing that we caught and corrected early on in this session of shooting was like, hey, we either need to start earlier or we need to start after happy hour.
Yeah.
Because right now we're going in and we're shooting for about 60 to 90 minutes and stopping for an hour. And then everyone feels tired or we don't get everything done. And And so that I'm glad that became a very active change in how we scheduled that stuff because happy hour is what it is. Brian likes doing happy hour. The community kind of expects happy hour to happen a certain number of times a week. But yeah, I think that we had a very what's a good word for it? We were open to change in this, which was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the other big ones was we had the barbecue guys out as well. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was great. They made some barbecue. They made some fantastic barbecue.
They did. Those episodes just came out. So
that's right. Barbecue week.
Barbecue week.
And that one was great. That was a slightly weird one. One of those was a slightly weird one because it was like, hey, we're actually going to smoke brisket.
Yeah.
So we have to have a call time of 6 a.m.
Yep.
Because if we want this to be done before dark.
I didn't believe it.
Really?
I thought I was going to be there with just one camera. Like, okay, whatever I get, I get.
What do you
Everybody
mean?
showed up.
Oh.
That's what I didn't believe. I didn't believe anybody else would be there. I thought it'd be me and Corey and just
and the one barbecue guy, Randy.
It was that was a weird one for me because that was on a Thursday, I believe, and Wednesdays I do editing for Scam Nation, and usually I'm editing late into the night. I'm not having to worry about stuff for Thursday, or usually stuff that happens on Thursday is late. And so when I get, I see on Slack, hey, we have a call time at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and it's already 9 or 10 on Wednesday. I had to go well, I guess I have to stop editing. I have to go to bed now so that I won't just be a total zombie at that shoot. And then, all of us ended up coming out for just that intro.
Yeah.
But then it was good. It was good food. It came out really, really good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Why didn't I come that week?
I know, right? You should have been here that week because we were, man, it was so busy.
Yeah.
It was a busy week.
It was very, very busy. But we'll talk about more about those episodes as they come out. Speaking of episodes, we've got Heather here.
What?
Let's talk about some of the episodes that you've done, speed notwithstanding. Were there any interesting episodes that have come out that you've edited or helped publish? that had any interesting sort of bits or stories about?
God, there's been so many. They all are kind of like blending together, but the red fire starter is one that really sticks out to me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the like fake infomercial that we did.
That's right. Because they kept doing, it was like different Satan names, fake Satan names for the infomercial. Is that right?
Yeah. And so then he was saying, you know, aren't you tired of your boring regular fire?
Yes. And even like the desaturated. Oh, that's right. I remember in the like, wah, sort of like, yeah.
Is your fire boring? Try Beelzeblaze.
I have a question about this one because the whole idea for this episode is here is a way to mix wax and chemicals together to create a very red to create a very red fire.
Corey, what is it?
Strontium nitrate.
Strontium nitrate and wax, right?
Yes. Yeah.
On the editing side, Heather, because we shot this at sundown, basically, we were losing light pretty much the whole time. How is like coloring that? Like, because you think of fire as like pretty orange, like warm color, and it was legitimately very, very red. How much did that come through naturally in the footage, and how much is it just a part of color grading?
I would say the second test they did of it, it was very obvious. The first one, I was a little bit like, yeah, I see it, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, it was just like their faces were bright red. You could definitely tell.
And I'll say confession, having done the color correction, the infomercial, I literally took out every single other color than red. In this part, I just left it as sort of kind of it was shot.
Okay, because it does look a rather orangey here at the end, but yeah, but also like with, I don't know.
It's tough to capture how fucking red it looked in real life, and I felt like maybe I should fake it again, but I'm like, nah, I'll just leave it kind of as the camera gave it to me.
And I'll say like the red in the infomercial, you can kind of tell a little bit.
When you see it reflected on them, that's when you can really tell that something's different. And when you look at the smoke.
But yeah. In this part, I took out all other color. Like,
and like it legitimately was very red in person.
Super red.
Like I had some, I think I shot a little TikTok clip. I shot some video clips of it, and it was noticeably red. Yeah. I always did think red was kind of a weird choice only because it looks so close, but
Corey.
It certainly was not my choice. I had all the colors of the rainbow ready.
You made all of them. I was a big proponent for blue or green.
Yeah.
But that is one where coloring matters a little bit on that, especially like with Scam Nation and like Scam School. I've talked about this before, like, not everything you see on there is the first take of stuff. What we need to do is get across the effect and the feeling of the moment, and like try to keep genuine, emotion and reaction in there, because we do get that good stuff, and that is the best stuff, better than faking it most times. But sometimes you got to goose it a little. You got to.
Yeah, I don't think I goosed it enough at the end there to convey what we saw in person. Because what we saw in person was very red.
It was very, very red. And I wonder how much the shifting color temperature of the dite had an effect, because, I mean, we were losing the light well into when we were done shooting. They kept going. They laughing and the whole bit, they kept, I remember it kept going.
It also took longer to get hot enough to light the strontium nitrate to make it that red too. So we had the fire ready to go, and it was cooking, but man, it took probably 10, 15 minutes at least, probably more, for it to finally actually catch.
Yeah.
I think my proudest contribution on that video is how many names I knew for Satan.
That's right. I remember you just off camera adding
like Pan, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles.
There's so many that I cut out.
We may have some episodes coming up soon that we're going to reuse some of those chemicals.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, a little tease.
Ooh.
We're going to try to get it out for Halloween, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Okay. Was that something we already shot?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay, interesting. All right, we got to hurry up on that. Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming up real quick.
Heather, what other videos? What other interesting stuff happened with some of these videos for you?
The fingerprints one was very difficult for me.
Oh, really?
I would be a terrible detective because I could not tell like which finger was which and whose it was, and I was.
If you synced up
so
the screencast, you would have known which was which.
Yeah, I didn't get it synced up right, so I was so confused, and I was looking at the actual fingerprint, and I couldn't see any of it. I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I pretty much had to leave that whole part to John, but it was just really funny to me that I would have failed this test miserably.
Yeah, we use the Bryce very quick to jump to the phone to solve something, or like, hey, I'm right here. I'll just use my phone to film this. And sometimes that's really tough to get sync, especially if it's just a screen recording and not camera footage, because it doesn't record audio or your mic audio when you do that. A lot of times we don't even get we don't see the screen on any of our other cameras to sync it up. Like I totally recognize that's always a difficult that happens more often than you might think.
Yeah.
Now, so you had trouble detecting which finger matched which finger, Heather? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is tough. I mean, it's certainly not the most scientific method that the guys used in this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, once John fixed it, I looked at it and I was like, oh no, I see it now.
Would you like a little bit more backstory on that?
Sure.
So that's not exactly what we had initially planned going in.
Oh, really?
So I actually had computer software that would do that.
Oh, it would look at the grooves.
So yes, and so it would look at it and then try to guess for you, try to match it up, and also you could do all the drawings on everything. But just for time and ease, Brian wanted to cut it down a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
So we actually had a longer episode planned that would have gone into all the software to use, because I reached out to Deviant Olam.
Oh yeah.
To figure out the software and get his recommendations on it and stuff.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was one where we were done shooting and I felt like I hope that we got it.
Yeah.
Because it was tough to kind of see the fingerprint a bit from our camera perspective. Yeah. It seemed like they got a lot of stuff with the cell phone footage. There was also the other like pre-made fingerprint that became kind of the primary print.
Yeah.
Was that tough on an editorial side to untangle, Heather?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely a video that I don't think really started to sing until first of all, I figured out whose fingers was whose, and then I added the sexy graphics and like I even added a lot of texture sound effects and stuff. So I kind of went all in on the graphic side of it.
This one was an odd episode. So I did all the pre-baking of the cakes on this one, right? So I did all the testing ahead of time to see if the fingerprint powder would work. And so me and Jason had a full idea of what the episode was going to look like. We were going to do the DIY craft stuff. We were going to do the computer software to figure out. Well, then the day of the shoot, literally as we're set up, cameras are about to roll, Brian's like, let's go in a different direction.
That's right.
And so so it really changed the episode. It turned out great,
I also remember we spent a long time trying to figure out that beginning skit.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we need a glass and we need someone to be the culprit. And what is this and that and that and that? I remember that taking a little while. That was one where I think I stepped out. For a little bit, just because sometimes there's just too many too many cooks to figure some of that stuff out.
That was my favorite part to edit.
Oh, really?
I always love the little narrative moments where I get to add a bunch of like stingers and make it dramatic.
And I was happy because Brian went with my pitch.
This was the one where it's like we're setting up for we were about to start shooting.
Yes.
That's right. I remember that. I remember us taking a couple of takes on it, and it made me go like, well, they're going to see the first pass edit. That's not, they had to do it a couple of times.
I don't think they're going to see the first pass edit.
Oh, really?
I don't think first pass edits are.
Oh, okay. That's
We're kind of phasing them out.
Oh.
And we might go in a new direction. I don't want to say too much, but it might be something where it's just a literal editor doing a voiceover to the timeline as they play the actual video.
Oh, okay.
Sort of a editor's commentary as a video plays.
Okay, that would be interesting. Because, yeah, First Pass Edits have been a Patreon perk since we've had the Patreon.
Yeah.
So it would be important to make sure we replace that with something.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely replace. We're looking at revamping Patreon.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay.
We've got lots of new fun ideas.
Good.
In a way where instead of 5 people really excited about First Pass Edits, we have 100 people who need to catch the whatever that comes out.
Okay. Very cool. Hey, radio tease. Very cool. Heather, any other ones? I know that I saw a big outsized reaction for the pinhole camera. That one was really fascinating.
Yeah, that was probably the longest start to finish, because I think I was talking about it last time I was on the podcast.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's one of our strangest episodes insofar as Heather did the rough cut, like she did the first pass edit, if you will, and Brant finished it.
Okay.
So it was it was one that Brant wanted to take and find the final voice to it.
And I feel like I could really see a lot of his touches, especially in like the final exposure stuff and the way he did a lot of the graphics and all.
Yeah.
I was very glad that turned out.
Yeah.
Just in period, because I was the one doing the developing and the photo, exposures and stuff. And,
I gotta say,
I did it in high school. It worked in high school in theory.
I gotta say, mad props to Heather, because I was really impressed with how much Brant left in there that she had come up with. Like, I think at one point she even did like a Star Wars wipe that he left in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. Yeah.
And they both left my Ben Radford quote about ghosts in old photos.
Okay. Yeah.
I was happy about that.
I was just so worried about it, especially after we were done, or especially like later thinking about it, a week or so later, because it's not like we were doing it totally right. I think we've talked about this a little bit before, where this was kind of a blending of multiple ideas together, which meant it was a little bit untested waters.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't film, it was photo paper, and it was a different size, and we were also using organic compounds instead of actual photochemicals.
I'm pretty sure, however we did it, those photos right now are pitch black.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
And that was the other thing, is like, it's a good thing we stopped and took, we probably took about 20 or 30 minutes of Brant actually recording, taking the final photos of these, because you could just watch them kind of in real time start to develop, continue to develop, and then overdevelop, and then just completely stop.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest part of editing it, was doing the research to make the title cards and explaining certain details about what you were doing. And I would have a hard time finding the information because it was combining these techniques.
My favorite moment of the Brant edit was remembering her edit, and she added this cool little diagram stick figure thing. I'm like, oh, that perfectly illustrates it. Fucking Brant's is like this 3D model.
Painstakingly drew my little stick figures.
That's right. He made. I know he mentioned a little bit on the Discord about how he did that big 3D graphic.
He kept
and
my square, my little bones of it.
And it looks cool.
It does look cool.
But I also can see how it.
Because I saw the first stick figure, I'm like, oh, perfect. That perfectly illustrates it. Thank you.
And I don't know if some of the things that I think we had takeaways from the end of shooting that made it into the video or not, but things for if you're making your own pinhole camera at home that you might want to do. Jason spray painted the outside of the box black, but you want to spray the inside also, because otherwise the light color of the box will refract the light back in on itself. So that leads to some blurriness. I don't know if that, I also don't know if this is on footage, but I started adding some black tape on the inside just to help get that a little bit. What was the other bit? No, I think that was the main thing. But yeah, a really interesting one. I'm glad it came out. I remember also, I understand that none of it made it in, but I was doing the developing, I was like talking to Brant the whole time and like walking through my process. And I don't know, I guess there must not have been anything good in there, but I don't know. Just the photo developing process is very complicated, very particular.
Yeah. This is probably the one that made Brian the most antsy, I guess.
Yeah.
Just about it turning out well. Also, he knows just enough to be dangerous about it, right? So he knows enough to have opinions, but I don't know, he was pretty antsy about that shoot.
Yeah. And like I also did pinhole cameras in high school, but we did them with roll film. We do it with a roller. You can actually do it with a roller film. And with an enlarger and actual photochemicals and an actual baths and actual stops and stuff. So I think that's probably why I ended up doing the final development.
That's the only way I've ever developed film is that way. I've never used a pinhole camera.
Yeah.
There was something I was looking up for one of the title cards. I think it was about like why the lemon juice worked or something.
Yeah.
That I just kept searching and I couldn't find the answer. And it was so frustrating that nobody would really explain why. They'd be like, well, this is what it does. And I'd be like, but why though?
Yeah.
It's very complicated.
That happened. There's a lot of that, especially when it's like a trade, right? Like, I mean, not that it's not a science, but it's also like a very specific industry, trade industry.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it just ends up being, and now you do this because it works. And then you do this and it works.
Which I think was the joke that somebody said. They're like, I don't know, because that's what the internet said to do. And then I looked it up and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the answer.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I want to quickly talk about her military hand signals.
Yeah, I was thinking about bringing
Because
that one up.
that is a very strange modern rogue. That is the first, I want to say the first modern rogue that is pure narrative.
Yeah, it was a very tricky edit.
Like there's no stopping and being like, okay,
We're doing this,
Jason, and here's how we do military hand signals. None of that. And so there was no point where we talked to the audience at all. So it was a very strange episode. And the final sequence, I was so happy. I tracked down a copyright-free version of that Beethoven track, Symphony 7 or something. And it's my favorite ever Beethoven song. And I found a copyright-free orchestral version of it, and I got to make a slow motion fucking Apocalypse Now death sequence out of it.
So much better than the placeholder music I had in there before that. Oh my god, game changer!
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
In full honesty, I had not seen this video yet, and so this is the first time watching the
It's a
slow
good
mo
one.
footage of him
It's
getting
one of the
fucking
prettiest
beamed in the
things
torso.
we've ever done.
Oh yeah.
When I was editing this, I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, "This is our masterpiece." So good.
It was pretty fun to shoot Brian though.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right, because so in the narrative of the story, it's the children who are shooting him. In fact, my understanding, because I wasn't there on that shoot day either, was that they would do all the bit and then they would come up and they would shoot around Brian.
Yes. That was the plan before shooting day. And then Brian was like, well, we got to do it.
Oh my gosh.
And so obviously we didn't want the kids to try to shoot Brian for many reasons.
Yeah.
So it was me.
Would have been fun. It would have given them some fun scars. though.
Yes.
Some fun mental scars. So you were the one who actually did the firing, right?
Yes,
Corey?
me and Annalisa.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
So I was pretty far back because I'm a pretty good shot, and I had her. I had Annalisa do some shooting as well, some target practice, and she was a pretty good shot too. So we felt pretty good. But Brian had to scoot up really close. So they're not point blank, but
That was too close for comfort.
man, that was not mine, by the way.
The one that almost hits him in his groin.
But man, were we pretty close.
Wow. That's talk about taking one for the team.
Now, you'll notice a lot of the girl footage is like stop, frozen, moving, whatever, because we had like anything we did with the girls, we had one shot.
Yeah.
Really.
And then because you have 3 angry feral kittens and you're trying to get them to follow the path. And
Oh,
Which-
that's
so-
what I will say too is that the CTA in this is like my favorite thing. I had so much fun.
Oh yeah, she made one of the girls have rainbow power.
Because that was the cute thing, is watching, all the footage of them. It was so much of them just like giggling and goofing off, and like they couldn't take it seriously. But she just kept saying, I don't want a gun. I want rainbow sparkles, rainbow sparkle magic beans.
That's cute.
So I gave it to her.
Well, that sounds, man. We work a lot with Josie on Scam Nation.
Hey,
and
yeah.
Josie's a treat. Josie's such a dream.
Yeah. Josie's not a usual kid.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Well, thank you again for joining us, Heather. I'm sure we'll have more insights. Did you also do barbecue week? Is that what this says? Oh, okay.
She did a couple. Me and her did 2 episodes. Brant did the first one because, frankly, I ran out of time, and I'm like, I'm going to Colorado for 2 days, and I'm not going to have enough time. Brant, I need you to edit this. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but please, just
I think I did a
do it.
very rough cut of it, and then it was out of my hands.
So Brant, this was Brant's. The first one was definitely Brant's because I just ran out of time, and I'm like, please help me. Just do it.
How, normally when we do weeks of things, they tend to be, they're tied into each other, right? Desperate Defense keeps a format through.
And they're usually tiny.
And they're all usually big. Short, right? Where these were 3, all of them. The Ultimate Brisket one is 20 minutes, but the other 2 are both over 10 minutes. How was that? And like, how much of a format was there to try to keep between the 3 of them? Like, did you feel like after Brant put his first one here that that you were working off of that, or were they all just because they're all kind of different subject matter a little bit?
Yeah, because after the first one came out, I was like, I'm gonna find a way to trim it down even more because the gas versus charcoal, that one could have easily been 20 minutes. And
really?
I'm like, no, because you get 3 guys who all love barbecue talking about barbecue. A lot of redundancies start taking place. And so even when I had like my final cut of the Ultimate Brisket one and I showed Brian's like, wait, didn't we just say that? I'm like, shit, you did. Hold on. And so I still had to cut out a lot of stuff because, they're all 3 into the same thing and they end up repeating each other.
Yeah.
So I had to look out for that.
I have that a lot with the Scam Nation stuff. Where, he'll say something more than once and you hear it enough times, you go through enough passes of it, you're like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Until, you stop and go, wait, how much of this is actually repetitive, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we did when we shot this, because we did do the taste test, was I was like pestering him for sound bites as we were getting B-roll of him cooking the different meats. Did any of that actually make it into the video?
Like, what kind of sound bites do you mean?
Yeah, we were like,
no.
Okay.
not much, but I thought some of it did.
I don't think so.
Okay.
There was a point where I had a cut where I was trying to leave it in, and then it was like there were certain clips where it wasn't working. So I think I ended up being like, no, I'm just gonna scrap it. But a lot of it was like good information.
Yeah, that was mostly what I was going for. Was like, okay, well, we can at least use this time to get sound bites in case that there's vital information that needs to be plugged in somewhere else.
Oh yeah, when Heather built a montage for like the Ultimate Brisket, a lot of that was based on what he was saying out loud as he was doing it. But then we just turned it into like a still image and quick cut montage.
Gotcha.
But the information did help us, write the title cards.
Oh, good. Well, okay. So then that's at least good.
Yeah.
Because it was a point where I didn't mean to keep like producing interview questions out of him. But I definitely still had questions about grilling and the different types of meat. And I also was not there for that first, the other 2 barbecue videos, I don't believe. Or I wasn't there for the first Understanding Barbecue. So I wasn't sure what even had already been covered in Understanding barbecue smoking.
But I enjoyed it. We were just talking about that earlier, that's the most helpful thing for me is sometimes in between takes. Like if you guys are just kind of chit-chatting and kind of explaining things a little bit more, it really helps me as an editor to be like, oh yeah, I get what you guys are doing now. All right, thank you for filling in the blanks.
Yeah, that's good to know. because I certainly felt productive having kind of if I may, grilling him for a few moments. All right. Well, there were some other Modern Rogue videos that came out. We should definitely talk about Rogue News.
Yes.
So this was our third Rogue News. Hosted by
Mr. Castillo.
Yours truly. That's right. Which was
with his Night Attack shirt and everything.
That's right. Then I think I wonder if you can still get those online. I know I know that there is a website where you can buy them, I believe. This was an interesting one for me because I've never done. We do these off of a teleprompter, and I had never done a teleprompter reading before.
You nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
You know, like Brian was asking, like, oh, how did Bryce do? I'm like, dude, the guy's been on camera enough times, and doing Night Attack all these years, like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and it also helped a lot that I did a pass on all of the script beforehand.
Yes.
Like.
Tweaked a few things here and there.
Right.
Because for the record, Rogue News is written by Dwayne Hoover. But Dwayne Hoover's a writer.
Who writes for themodernrogue.com.
Yeah, so he writes for our website, but he's a writer who's writing for people to read.
Yeah.
And I look at half a page that he's given me. I'm like, we're going to cut this in half.
Yeah. And so there was a good bit of that. And also we do cord killers. I have a segment on cord killers where I'll either read an email in from someone recommending a show, or I'll write a little script for myself. And over the years, I've had to recognize, like, okay, this is the way that I talk. There are just certain things that I'm gonna say, and if I see a script and it's not the way that I would say it, I'm going to mess up or I'm going to say it wrong.
Yeah.
And so having that and having a chance to kind of fill in a little more, make it a little more verbal instead of written, made me more comfortable with it. But yeah, it was a good experience. I had a good time doing it. We ended up shooting it pretty quickly too.
Yeah. And there was a segment with Brian and a segment with me where I talked about my baby squirrel.
That's right. The rock squirrel. Is that right?
Baby Central Texas rock squirrel.
So is the next Rogue News going to be about the cat?
Yes.
Okay. There's a cat on the property.
Yeah. But I just want to briefly touch on how controversial this episode was. We did not realize how controversial it would be to tell a story about a transgender woman who, was a fighter pilot in World War II and just broke the world record for being the oldest pilot/pilot trainer
instructor. Yeah.
And
so a lot of what happened. So the video is still titled 99-year-old transgender pilot breaks world record.
Yes.
Even us, where we change titles a lot, did not change the title.
No.
And one of a lot of the responses we started seeing in the comments were things that broadly I think were bad faith or just I don't know.
Dog whistles.
There was some outright just like transphobic and hateful comments. Those definitely got expunged. But the more nuanced ones of like, well, why does it matter,
bro?
Right. Or like what the ones that were really interesting were the ones where you could tell they didn't even make it to that part of the video or hear it, because it's like, oh, so they're just making world records. Why don't they make a world record for Asian pilots? I was like, well, it's not what the because she was trans. Yeah. And so whatever, fuck off. Like we do so much stuff. We have a wide spectrum of the way we title things on Modern Rogue.
Yeah.
And never ever do we get anyone saying like, why would you call it that? That's clickbait.
Yeah.
You're just trying to and so that's why I think a lot of that is bad faith. I think it's all just meaning
they become very sophisticated philosophical arguing people. Right. When we have a title like this.
They're always interested in meritocracies when it's for minorities.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of that going on. The one that really astounded me, and I didn't know how to respond to it other than saying my reality of it, was there's a bit in there when I'm talking about the pilot where I'm like listing things off in a series. and so I start off, I think the second line in the series of, I think the line is like, is a trans woman. And I'm not always the best enunciator, right? But some people believed I said he's a transgender female pilot, as misgendering her, which I did not do. That's not how the script was written. That's not what I said. You wouldn't have put it in there. I wouldn't have let it happen.
Yeah.
But that's one where you just have to say, like, nah, I didn't say that. You're just hearing me say this other word, which is tough because, like, that's a perception thing. That's an actual reality thing. And that one was really got to me the most effective. Maybe not the most, but the most effective, only because I am a queer person myself, and I would not want to put a trans person in that position of misgender. I wouldn't be on fucking video misgendering a trans woman. I wouldn't want to. That would be that very particularly. I wouldn't want to do that. So, but these people don't know me. They don't know anything about me. They just know what they see, and they see a firestorm and blah, 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 blah. So it is what it is, right? But just. It was a weird day.
Yeah, I got to say, that's one of the first times I've ever seen Brian Brushwood full on, just like, I'm disappointed in our fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
That I think we talked about it on Night Attack that night, because I think it came out that day.
Yeah.
And it was in the pre-show. It must have been in the pre-show, because I knew I went into that Tuesday night recording of Night Attack and wanted to not talk about it at all because it was frustrating. But I think he got it right in terms of, like, this is really disappointing to see.
Yeah.
And for
the record, he came up with that title, and me and him both workshopped it, because we just went with that one. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, that tugs on the heartstrings. He's like, yeah, it does.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Perfect.
People were trying to put so much agenda on it in the messaging, but there was no agenda.
Right.
It was funny because I was sitting in the room and we were like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's a part
this
of what's
the story.
happening. That is the story. There was no like, oh, that'd be salacious. We'll get more clicks with saying trans. There was zero of that. It was just like, it's just what the story was. And
when it comes to, a lot of the meritocracy arguments, well, if it was so interesting, why did you need to say that they were trans? Well, I know to one of the comments, I actually linked them to the Wikipedia article for Man Bites Dog. The idea of, like, well, you have to make headlines interesting so that a dog biting a man is not interesting. That happens every day. Why would you ever even report on it? And so that's what everyone on YouTube does. That is how YouTube functions. YouTube, more than views and watch time and click rate conversions, like, it's about getting people to watch a video, and that's part of it. The title and the thumbnail we talked about on this show a lot are very important, and that means making it something interesting. If the title of Rogue News was just person achieves something, like, literally that, like, that's nothing. No one cares. You're right. No one does care about that. So that's
and for the record, a lot of people we will not be seeing again.
In the comments.
Yes.
We also got lots of good comments too.
We did. And I was glad to see the other various parts of our community.
Yeah. And then before anybody says it, we are well aware it is a vocal minority.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, comments
I think about how many videos how many videos I watch every week, and how many of those videos I genuinely love. I don't leave comments ever.
It's the Yelp thing. People don't leave reviews for things that they like.
Yeah.
Because they go home and they go about their day, right? The good stuff in life doesn't make you stop. Usually doesn't make you stop and reflect on, oh, that was a good brisket. I need to let other people know. Like, that's not you. The nice thing about it is you continue on with your day undeterred from the things that you want to do. So, yeah. Also, we want to talk about all these, right, John?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I'll super quick, Book Sword. That was one I did with, I believe, Matt David. And the only reason I want to mention it is I still don't get it. It is hands down one of our most popular videos of the last couple months. I don't fucking get it at all. I've had it explained to me like 10 times. It's just, it is a row of books with here it comes, a samurai sword hidden in it.
Yeah, that's fucking
That's
cool.
it.
Why
I
don't
know,
you
it's
get that?
cool.
That's
I don't get it. I never will. I'm moving on with my life.
I mean,
So good.
I don't.
like I generally don't really care for book safes really at all. Like, okay, cool, you bought a $30 hollowed out book, cool. But this is like, I
Next
think
level.
it's the scale of it. It's
Yeah.
it's the scale of it. Like, oh, like no, you can make you can add a whole sword in there, because you would look at these books. You know, these are encyclopedia volumes. You wouldn't think that there would be
A whole sword.
a whole
'Cause
fucking
why would there
sword.
be a whole sword in all these books? I don't.
Really
I thought
cool.
everybody had one of these in their house.
So I'm the nerd. I don't get it.
We need to make you one.
Yeah.
We need to make you one, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, because I can pick the sword. I can pick what sword goes in there.
Also, by the way, that was hard as hell to make.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it took
was-
Annalisa a lot of hours.
It's right, because
So mad props to you, Annalisa. I still don't get it. And the next one, I just wanted to say that was fun.
this is the
mask letter. The only thing I want to say about the mask letter is it's one of the few videos in a long time that I did all by myself.
Yeah, you did
oh
it.
really?
That I cut all by myself.
The intro was
Edited.
hilarious. I love that intro.
Yeah. Like we didn't know where to go with the joke at all. So I just, yeah.
How much? Here's a good question, because I know that when we shot this, we probably did about 2 or 3 run throughs. Is that right? How much mixing and matching do you do when we do safeties and stuff on?
I
on the skits like
normally,
this?
for most any other shoot of ours, we just always go with the last take.
Okay,
like, I
no
think
mixing and matching at all.
With this, I think there was quite a bit of mixing and matching. But with most shoots, I think our joke on set is, why don't we just do the first take last, or the last take first? We should just always do that one, you know? Because we just always end up going for the last take. But that's all I wanted to say about this. It's it was one of the few videos I've done in a long time where I edited the whole thing from start to finish.
How long is a long time?
Yeah, like a few months.
Okay.
I edit all the Rogue News from start to finish.
Okay.
And I do most of the ads by myself because we don't have time to hand ads off to, hell, even Brant, who is just a few miles away. We don't have time. But most of the videos lately have been first handled by a remote editor. In this case, our new full-time remote editor is Heather.
Yay.
And so she's going to be doing all the first rough cuts of everything. And and I usually just take it from there. I usually just take the last 20% that needs to be done and finish it.
Okay. Wow. Sounds nice. Well, very cool. So those are some of the Monorail videos that have come out. A little bit about
Yay.
Monorail videos that will be coming out soon. Corey,
Yes.
if we can change gears here a little bit, what's going on with eBay?
Yeah.
What's
Well, we're going to find out.
Okay.
Is what we're going to do. No, we wanted to set up a Modern Rogue eBay account
okay?
For a
Very
couple
easy. They're
things.
free to make. Just ebay.com.
for a couple of reasons. One is because we have equipment that we don't need anymore, or we've
lot.
upgraded, or whatever, right? We don't have a use for anymore, and so it doesn't make sense to sell that on scam stuff, right? And so we wanted to be able to have an eBay store for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Also, we have some things that we think would be fun to sell to the community, but wouldn't necessarily be good to run through the store. And so, like, one of the things we're talking about is, some of those death medallions we made.
Oh, sure. From the paint can forge.
Yeah,
video.
exactly. So it'd be fun to sell those to some of the fans who really wanted something from on set, right? And so it's a way to be able to sell that and not, because that way we can just put it up and let people bid on it, and they can get what they pay for what they want,
Yeah.
And so that way it's not
They
kind
should be patrons.
They should be.
They should be high. That patron level.
Yes, we're going to do that as well.
Yeah.
But just not something like that, to be
Okay.
able to sell some stuff for the fans that they would like,
Yeah.
but not have
Yeah.
it run through the store.
Okay, interesting. I do know that we have a good deal of equipment here that as we've moved towards new equipment bits, that things have just phased out.
Yep.
Literally and figuratively collecting dust.
Yes. And that's a good idea. I
Yeah.
like that. I guess it's still early on in executing this eBay.
Correct. Yes, I just set it up, so we don't even have the store up or anything yet.
Okay.
So this is a coming soon.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way.
I'll probably have it up by the time this episode comes out.
Okay, we'll figure out a way. We'll need to figure out a way for people to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Or when. I guess the email list is probably the best thing. Scamstuff.com. There's an email list on the. I don't know where it is now on the news site, but there's got to be a way. Gimme.scamstuff.com. That'll get you an email list about that. Because that I can't imagine a better outlet for people to know that it's coming.
Yep.
Right. I assume that would be a thing. So that's pretty cool.
Because Corey's been admiring my mad eBay skills these last few months.
Yeah, you can spend money on there real fast.
Hey, I've made some money. I just sold those shoes.
You sold shoes?
A brand new box of Skechers shoes because they were too big for my feet, and I couldn't return them in time. And so I just sold them the other day.
Oh, okay. Did
I made $80.
You made $80 on that transaction?
I mean, they were $130 pair of shoes.
Someone paid $210 for those on eBay?
No, they paid $80. I paid $130 for shoes.
I see. Okay. All right.
But now they sold for $80.
Okay. So you're down 50.
I'm down.
You're down 50. But I thought you were up 80.
No.
I was like, Jesus, I need to get in the Skechers game. Holy shit.
I'm up 80 from where I was.
I've got a little bit of a change gear here. So I believe probably by the time this episode comes out, but in about 2 or 3 weeks, we will have the 100th Scam Nation video be released. Thank you. Okay. So which puts us at about 2 years of doing Scam Nation, which seems crazy to me. I know when we decided we would rebrand Scam School, there was a lot in terms of trying to figure out what we didn't like about Scam School as a format and ways that we can break it and ways that we can get out of it, right? And I think there have been a lot of things that we've been able to do on Scam Nation that wouldn't have fit in a Scam School format. I think it was last summer when we were running Nate Staniforth's American Magic series, there wouldn't really have been a place for us to do that without it feeling weird.
And some of Brian's more thoughtful to camera pieces.
A lot of the Q&A stuff, or a lot of solo instruction videos for sure. Even stuff like, I feel like the coin flipping with oh my goodness, and I follow him on Instagram too.
Rower.
The world record
Junior.
Rick Smith Jr.
Thank you very much. Oh,
that was hurtful.
I feel like those would have been those episodes would have looked very different under the Scam School format. I think we're in a place right now that is just kind of unfortunate. When COVID hit and people stopped traveling as much, a lot of the magic industry took a hit. A lot of magic has moved virtual. That was at the precipice of us about to do a whole new thing with
All-Star Nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Bringing a lot of guests in, having it be very focused, having them bring good content, getting good interviews, us possibly going places like I don't know, a new evolution on the format. Because I sometimes do get frustrated a little bit by how much of the Scam School DNA is in a lot of the Scam Nation DNA.
Well, I love that you guys, out of all the things you guys could have changed, you still kept the word scam.
That is the fact that we did do that. That's right. And so it's just interesting. I guess I knew we put together the dot. This is not a surprise to me finding this out right now that we're coming up on 2 years. But I guess I had not really reflected on it very much. I would love us to get back to, once kind of the magic industry and the travel becomes safer and people feel more comfortable with it, that we can try and get back to doing that, because I do feel good about you know, the strong thing that helped Modern Rogue a lot is collaboration, right? Collaboration is really important. Like our most popular Scam Nation video has been those collaboration videos with Frank Grimes from Numberphile.
Yeah.
And I still wish we could fix a lot of things with those videos because YouTube just doesn't let you fix typos and stuff.
Oh.
But you know, that's a valuable thing for any channel, and that's how it grows and expands. Like even that Frank Grimes things, like I don't think there would have been space in Scam School to really like look at that carnival scam or to have an interview with him, you know.
I remember that was one of my first jobs when I got here was to build the carnival scam.
That's right. That's right. And I think we have that that is somewhere around
it's
here.
It's in the soundstage.
And so I don't know. I know when we'd spent some nights talking at like what Scam Nation could be and the different ways that we can kind of engage with the community and try to I don't know, figure out a best positioning for it, not just within Magic, but also just within YouTube itself. I know, especially when we started the rebrand, I was really gung-ho and like, let's really focus on education. Let's really condense stuff down, trim a lot of the fat. And I do think we have broadly been able to trim just a lot of fat out of the Scam School format, especially in overhead, you know, intro, like a lot of overhead, you know, super teas and then the intro and all this stuff. And then got to have an outro and like a lot of that stuff has helped make it feel fresh and a little more modern. But I also recognize that like that is part of, there's a certain mainstream element to what Scam School was, which is like, hey, there is like anyone can watch this and see people get excited and so I'm certainly not as gung-ho about that. But I remember there was a quote from, gosh, this was years ago now, but
sorry to interrupt, but yeah, Annalisa helped me with the Razzle Dazzle board.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
She was a big help with that.
Yeah,
because my handwriting sucks.
Oh, that's right. She did, and the handwriting on it
and
on
sanding
it was good.
and all that.
But there's a quote from, I want to say, the president of Food Network from around a few years ago. Maybe it was even, but that's when I saw it, was when we were still figuring out Scam Nation. Was, you know, talking about there needs to be a balance on that channel on Food Network between shows where you watch someone cook something and at the end you've learned how to cook something, and like entertainment with all of the challenge shows that they do. You know, there is a balance there. And so hopefully what we can continue to do with Scam Nation is widen our scope in the subjects that we talk about, continue to leave ourselves open for possibly new projects. You know, it was very cool to run that Nate Staniforth stuff, and I would love if we could do more of that, because it just means that we're able to put those really like interesting interviews and that whole road trip that he took in front of a lot of people. You know, we have a large platform, and I think that's really something we can.
I had so many booked, so many magicians booked.
I know.
Many.
I gotta say,
just like this, 20, like days.
I had
like
20 of them.
Wow.
Basically agreed to come on and work with us, and we had a plan to go to Vegas and work with Matt King and do the tours at
Copperfield warehouse,
and work with Ice Cream Social Boys and all of them. But we'll get back. We'll get back there.
Well, that's
we'll
right.
Back there.
Like it's gonna take time.
Yes.
In the meantime, I think I speak for the vast majority when I say I'm loving the Josie episodes.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I really do like them a lot. One of the things, so I'm trying not to be a supposed to. I'm not trying to be a supposed to guy. One of the things when we came to the rebrand was like, hey, like let's figure out a way to open this up and not solely focus on beginner stuff. And I do think that it's great that we can do this stuff with Josie. Josie's like a breeze to work with.
Yeah.
And this gives us a good opportunity to redo a lot of older content that is not in high definition and takes 30 fucking minutes to watch. And you've got Netflix DVD mail ads in the middle of it. And those are also long. But So that's just one thing of like, well, this is beginner stuff. We're kind of leaning in on the Scam School format because it works, and right now it's kind of one of our only options. The bar scene. I have no idea what the bar scene is going to look
I
like.
don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing the booking for bars here for years, and it's even when it was good, you were never sure, like, does this person still work here? Does this email address still work? Are they even owned by the same company? Who am I actually talking to? And now with it just, in short, the scene here in Austin is not good. A lot of places are shutting down. So it'll come back. It will come back. Just needs to give it time. So congratulations to everyone.
Bam.
Because Scam Nation is the result of everyone's works over, the 10 years of Scam School and these 2 years here of Scam Nation. So thank you all. One other thing. So this is more of a technical thing. So Scam Nation, a benefit of Scam Nation is that it's a pretty formatted show. It usually happens in a certain way, especially when we're doing these Joseph things. And so you can have a template that is pretty well built out for different occasions. And so about 3 weeks ago, I said, like, look, I am going into these episodes and I'm not having the things I need in the template. The things in the template are like things I don't need as much anymore of, or like I had no sponsor stuff set up. I was rebuilding the Squarespace sponsor stuff every other week with graphics and the title cards and all that stuff, just because it wasn't in the template that I made last year.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'll go and I'll re-update it and I'll make it, and I've got the billboard pre-built, and it'll have the title card for right after the billboard, and the full screen wipe, and then lower thirds for the names, and then the wipe for the ad, and then the the little sponsored by this video brought to you by, and then the lower screen and all that stuff. And then their Squarespace contract ended, and now I don't need any of that stuff anymore. I did not need to do. I made a template, and it immediately became obsolete. And I'm not mad about it at all. End of sentence. I don't know how much, like, for the modern Rogue stuff. What does your template look like? Like, for me,
Big.
Is it
Super big.
really?
Like if you open our Premiere project file, like it's pretty involved.
What does that timeline look like? I guess. What are the things that are pre-built?
Well, definitely the title card, the CTA, and we have a frequent use sequence that contains the formatting for even like sound effects are formatted. It's like, these are the sound effects you use when bringing an image in and bringing an image out. This is what a title card should look like. Here's all the pieces in order to build the title card. Of course, every title card has to be cut up into 3 sections. The
coming in, static, and the build out,
and then and so there's just a lot of little pieces, and it seems to be growing. It's never gonna shrink. It's gonna keep growing because I keep coming up with ideas, or Brant keeps changing the game, and so we tend to add to it more than we take away from it.
Interesting. That was coming up with a lot of the look for Scam Nation stuff, which tended to mostly happen in about 7 days. We really did think we would have a little more time between the end of Scam School and the beginning of Scam Nation, but that's in the past. My big goal was like simplicity, capital S, simplicity.
I am really grateful that Brant changed the format of the title cards for Modern Rogue so that it is a static title card.
What was it previously?
Before, it was always some background footage of that shoot that took place, and the dress pants robot man voiceover, and and the different people's faces who are in the episode, like jostling and After Effects, and it was just like this whole involved 10-step process every single time you made a fucking title card, instead of just updating the names.
Sure.
So I'm really glad that we made that change.
My goal has always been simplicity.
Yes.
We have we only have a handful of graphics for Scam Nation. We have the Scam Nation logo with the wipe in and the wipe out. We have different versions of that logo wiping in on the sort of speckled black background, the one that has a wipe, one that doesn't have the wipe, one that doesn't have the thing, a couple of different variations on that. A version of the full screen wipe. There are 2 full screen wipes. There's a short one that is 4 frames and a longer square one. So there's the short one is on an angle that always brings in the episode. And then the one that goes out is kind of straight up, and that's a little slower. That's like 7 frames. And those, I didn't even mean for them to be this way, but those are just timed right, where you can just do a basic wipe underneath them, set to a certain size, certain length, and it'll look just right. It's those. I will make a full. I'll like bake a version of like the billboard. Like, this episode is brought to you by Square. Like, I've got a baked version of that coming in, so that's not like a procedural thing. But other than that, like, the lower thirds are just what is it? A motion graphic template. What are they called in Premiere now?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Smart graphics? No, that's not it. Live graphics? No.
Graphic editor?
No. Gosh, it's the same thing that they use for the audio. Oh man, this is really bad that I don't know it, because I like it for the video. Anyway, there's a thing where you have it looks like an After Effects composition that you bring in, but you can click on it. Essential graphics.
Oh, yes.
You can click on it and you've got a text field, and so you can change the line 1 and line 2 in Premiere without having to open After Effects, and it'll keep the wipe stuff in there. And then the back behind that is just a blue color matte, so it's not even like a box or anything, but it's just a little blue in the corner. And then that's it. It's simplistic. Like, I have had a thought lately of like, well, what would it look like if it was a little more present? Because the other thing is that simplicity also means that the graphics are not very present, right? There's not a lot of hard edges outside of text.
Yeah.
There's that's really all that is. When we go to full screen graphics, it's just that kind of speckled background, and then text or a diagram. And maybe we don't need it. Maybe that would get us out of simplicity. But I don't know. I've been thinking about that.
Well, I will say I wish we incorporated some more of the tools that are available in the Adobe suite, because a lot of our stuff is kind of built from scratch.
Yeah.
It's like combining like a scan video file with, an effect that can make a title card be, can be switched to alpha, and so then it disappears with the scan. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is like built by scratch, like every inch of it.
So every episode you're like going into After Effects and making those titles, basically.
A lot of them.
We should talk, because you should look into Essential Graphics, because that's basically how the lower thirds on Scam Nation are set up. Like, they've got the video wipe on them, and now that they're made in Essential Graphics, I can click on it, go to the Essential Graphics tab, and just type in the text that I want on each line, and then it adjusts the text. And so if it's something simple like text, you can that's something you might be able to.
Oh my God, if that works, that would be a game changer. I was just saying that sometimes I'll make a typo and I will have done everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like 10 steps to go in and fix the typo.
Yeah. If I remind me if I don't, but Essential Graphics is really solid for that, and it's really easy to make. Like, it actually is legitimately very easy to make. You just have to do it. Like, there's steps to doing it, but once you do it, you don't have to touch it ever again.
These editors always lying.
Corey's just like, if I can't do it in Teams,
it's easy. Sure it is.
You can even set up like tick boxes for different things. So if you have, say, I don't know, I want this function to not be on, you can tie that to a tick box, and in Premiere you'll see the tick box. And I think that they've upgraded it so that you can do even more stuff in there. So Essential Graphics, we'll check that out.
All I'm saying is I've edited some pretty good videos in PowerPoint. That's all I'm saying.
You're not going to get me here talking smack on PowerPoint. PowerPoint's powerful. Animation tools like no one's business. and the integration with Microsoft Teams.
To be fair, I'd have my employees do it, but either way, I got it done.
All right, so that's a little bit of a template talk. One last thing, briefly, only so that I can say the words out loud, I guess. We were doing the campaign with TikTok. We were doing the Learn on TikTok campaign, which we've mentioned before was sponsored content. They were paying us to produce a certain number of TikTok videos by a certain time, which we did complete and execute that contract. And I think it's still up in the air if they're going to do a second phase of that.
Well, does TikTok exist?
So that's the thing, right? I guess by the last time we talked on this program, maybe there hadn't been, or maybe it just happened, but there was an executive order saying no more transactions with TikTok and WeChat specifically. Yeah. And then as of right now, the bans on those apps seem to be in the courts and are now not in place.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be that this Sunday was the day that the app stores would have to remove the apps.
But then something about Walmart pretending to be interested for a minute.
So that's the other part, is that the president wants his best friends Walmart and Oracle to own the American version of TikTok. Yeah. And TikTok has said that they will do that. And the Chinese government's not interested in, doesn't love that. And TikTok doesn't love that. And so who knows? Who like right now there's a stay of execution on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I really would like that at Modern Rogue account to like be a good visual place. Mm-hmm. Like I use TikTok a lot. I like TikTok generally as a program. I like using it when it doesn't feel super addictive.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to work with. It's really easy to edit stuff in there. I was looking at some of the stuff that we had been doing for that campaign. By the end of it, just for ease sake, I was editing those in Premiere. But like using TikTok, like some of that stuff, just the way you can clip stuff together and edit clips really easily, like was probably overkill, honestly. So I don't know. Right now, I think we are in the new TikTok Creators Fund, which is very similar to YouTube AdSense, where the more people watch a video, you get money in a virtual wallet, and then you get paid out at a certain amount.
That's cool.
It is cool, but it's also like cents. We're talking about cents, really, not even dollars. So we're figuring that out. I would like it to be like one of our social media outlets and have it be a place where, along with our, like, if we made content for TikTok, that's also stuff that could be used on Instagram, could be used on Twitter, or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah. I see a lot of content on there that I'm like, ooh, we could do that a lot better. Or we already have everything already ready to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a large library of back content that can fill that really easily and have it be really substantive.
I'm pretty sure we could get Brian in a short shirt to dance around.
Crop top, that's right.
Crop top. I'm pretty sure we could make that work.
But it's as with all the social media stuff, it's a matter of time and having the time to do it, right? Like it is the easiest if the editor is in Premiere and they're finishing their project and they're waiting to publish or whatever. Certainly the easiest flow is like, hey, can you just clip out a minute of something and use the auto resize, pan and scan stuff in Premiere to just make me a minute of something. But I also recognize, because we were doing that for Scam Nation for a minute, that just putting together that extra minute can be tough as well, especially when you're tired and done with the video.
Yeah.
We'd had Josh, who is interning with us, put together some videos, possibly for TikTok. So it could be something where someone like Josh or Annalisa or whoever can take an already baked video or like a no music version of a video and cut it together for TikTok. But right now it's figuring out where everyone's familiarity and comfort is with editing video, and seeing if TikTok even exists. So, that's a little bit update on TikTok, because it'd be cool if it existed and it wasn't shut down because the president couldn't give his friends many millions of dollars to be a contractor. So That's some TikTok stuff.
Somebody in the text there asked, when will we get shows on Pluto TV, Scam Nation, and Modern Rogue channels? Stay tuned to that. I'm working on some other things in the background currently. So we may have our own channels on like Roku, Apple TV, Amazon. So stay tuned.
Interesting.
Working on contracts currently on that.
Interesting. Keep an eye out.
What about Quibi?
We should. I'm just gonna say we should see what it would cost us to buy Quibi in like 6 months when no one with real money says that they'll buy them. Because we have friends who have worked on Quibi stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of their daily shows was like a celebrity history show.
Oh.
Like this day in celebrity history. This person was on the red carpet or whatever. Our friend Kate Raft was one of the writers on that show, and not working for Quibi anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Quibi.
Oh, when is Katzenberg gonna see his day?
You would think he would already have had it.
Nope.
All right,
He's been next to people who have had their day, but he's never had it.
let's wrap it up here with some off-topic stuff. Corey and Heather, start thinking about your off-topic stuff while I ask John.
Do we have an off-topic for Heather there?
I am not seeing it here in our program.
What?
But John, why don't we start with you?
Cobra Kai never dies, man.
Oh,
No,
yeah? You're just now getting into it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't pay for YouTube. I'm like the millions of people who are like, wait, where is this show? Like, it's on YouTube. Oh, cool. I'll subscribe. Like, no, you have to get YouTube Red. What's YouTube Red? It's like, no, it's the premium YouTube. Why is it called YouTube Red? We don't know.
Well, now it's called YouTube Premium.
Oh, well, whatever.
No, YouTube Red is a bad name for it. But
Yeah.
So now Cobra Kai is on Netflix. They're going to make a third
Netflix.
season on Netflix.
And just morbid curiosity, I'm like, what the hell does a YouTube series, a YouTube TV show look like?
Yeah.
And I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Like the writing, it's just a fantastic upbeat show.
And I'll say, having watched some of the other YouTube originals, Cobra Kai doesn't really look like either of any of those either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Though there was one YouTuber. Oh gosh, now I don't know what's up with it because I hope that someone buys it. But there was a Jordan Peele. I don't remember. It was another person making it, but it's called Weird City, which was kind of a comedic take on a futuristic, dystopic sort of haves and have-nots sort of city. It was really cool. They got a lot of really good comedians and actors that I know or know of. I'm not friends with fucking Gillian Anderson, but Weird City was really good and really fun and quirky. So I hope that someone buys the rights to that. But yeah, Cobra Kai was cool.
Yeah, I was really impressed with it, and I love like everybody's always. I love how they flip the script of like it's from the quote unquote bully's perspective. And he saw this kid who he gave a little shit to, but then kept harassing him. And so I love how they kind of shift that perspective. And there's always this debate of, was Daniel the real bully? You're like, no, he wasn't. But in my mind, here's my my hypothesis. Karate is the bad guy.
Oh, God.
Karate is the fucking... Because every time characters are about to come to an understanding or a compromise, a literal fight happens and it's all reset. It's all back to zero because... They literally fought each other. You
understand it's a martial art, right? The goal of it is competition. Okay.
They assault each other, and nobody learns anything. So I think karate.
You're right, John. They should have peace tournaments.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah. So now that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you watch season 2?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is season 2 about? Because I watched the beginning and the end of season 1.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, setting up Johnny. Okay, they go to the tournament and they do the tournament.
Well, season 2 has the return of Kreese, which just shows that weird sort of toxic father and son relationship that he had with Johnny. And Johnny's trying to give him another chance. It just plays in a lot of those waters. And and it's interesting. It's a good season.
Very cool. Heather, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I live in Portland.
So you're kind of busy with your own.
It's been on fire. And the air has
How do you like the air?
Oh, yeah. You can't breathe the air. You're not allowed to go outside.
How do you like
it's
our air?
so hazardous. It's so nice here.
Yeah.
I went outside. It was great.
Yeah. And we've got your rain.
Yeah.
We brought you some rain.
Didn't have
Just
to wear a
make you feel at home.
respirator when I went outside, so it was great.
my
So
God.
I've been trying to find ways to keep myself busy, like not being able to leave my house at all. So I fell into a little bit of a hole. There is a website called Bachelor Archive where you can watch every Bachelor show from every country. And so I discovered that there is a season of Bachelor Australia that's airing now. And what happened was when they started, COVID wasn't a thing. And then they go into lockdown and they start filming it over Zoom. And then everything's fine and they get to start filming again. And it just blows my mind. It's so fun to watch because I'm like, imagine this reality where life returns to normal.
That's right. Right. Because Australia, I've read Australia's still figuring some stuff out, but generally has got a pretty good handle on it.
You're doing a lot better than we are.
Yes. Yeah. That's fascinating. I'm really interested to see kind of what all of the production, like I think where productions have been able to happen, the ways that they've been able to smooth over the way things are right now, will be really interesting to see in the future.
One of our other remote editors, Christina Holleran, is actually working these days as a COVID compliance officer on movie sets.
Oh, yeah, because LA has very
Basically,
specific
the
laws.
angry mom who comes around and tells people to put their masks on. Yeah.
Yeah, good. She better make sure they take breaks too.
Right?
Because like what is it? Big Brother Canada was airing right at the start of COVID, and so it was a big thing. You can watch it on YouTube where they have to go and say like, "Hey, Big Brother contestants, there is an outbreak. There's like a virus that none of you knew about or maybe had heard about and weren't concerned about, but here are your loved ones who have like, some of them have contracted it, and we're going to stop this show in a couple of days. So just be ready." Like it's really great. It's a lot like that Dead Set show for, I think it was for BBC. Do any of you know Dead Set?
Yeah.
It is a Charlie Brooker script. Produced by Fremantle, who does all of the Big Brother shows, where there's a Big Brother-like show. It might have actually been Big Brother in this show. And a zombie outbreak takes place, and the contestants don't know about it.
That's hilarious.
And so everything goes to shit.
Oh my God,
and
I have seen that.
yeah, it's on Netflix. It's good.
good.
It's old. It's
I
kind
love
of its
anything
time.
Charlie Brooker ever does.
Yeah, he's good. Very cool. Yeah, just very of the times. Corey, what have you been up to?
So first, I got to work with Brian and David on the Modern Rogue mystery box,
Ooh, okay.
and
I was going to say, I work with Brian too.
there's some good stuff in there. I was excited. There's some fun stuff coming in that mystery box. So if you were able to order one, congrats. There's some cool stuff in
Wait,
there.
your off topic is a product tease?
No, that's just
So basic.
so good. It was so
They
good.
keep showing me. They keep
forgot to
showing
mention
me
it
stuff.
earlier. It was-
They
it
keep
was
showing
good.
me stuff, and I'm
Some
like,
good stuff in there.
and I think those are going out.
Let's don't say the date.
I don't know
This
if I can date,
decade.
but I think by the next episode of this show, they might be.
They
getting
they
ready,
have
man.
they've got the majority of the product in. Some of it got delayed,
Yeah,
but they're actively building boxes now. So
very cool. What was your other thing?
the other thing is I got to come in and tell John. I said, John, because I don't watch much TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
John, I've been watching a bunch of TV.
He doesn't
And John was like, oh, what have you been watching? And I was like, the NBA.
Okay, yeah.
John was so disappointed. He thought I joined the nerds around here with watching TV, and no, just NBA.
Yeah.
NBA.
They're in the bubble, right? They're in the Disney bubble.
Yeah.
Is that working out?
Yeah, it actually really is.
Do they have audience sounds?
Yes.
Yeah, they pipe it in.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yep.
they do that with football too, and I think it's good except when they show the stands and then there's only like 100 people in the stands or no people in the stands.
Yeah.
So dystopian. I can't handle it.
The NBA, I really haven't missed the fans at all. Like,
Yeah.
it's been great. It's been good basketball.
Yeah, you realize how little you see the crowd stuff. Like baseball, you would see it in with pitch. You'd see behind the dugout.
Yep.
That's the only sport I watch, and it's weird because you see the cardboard cutouts. It's
Yeah.
You watch
so weird.
You watch baseball?
Yeah.
Really?
John, you need to find a sport.
I have a baseball
Sports, John.
tattoo.
You should find a sport.
Sports ball.
You would like a sport. What?
Ping pong.
Let's pick a
I
sport
like
for John.
tennis.
You would like soccer. You'd be a soccer guy.
I
for
like watching
sure.
sports documentaries. If you can give me a documentary about the Denver Broncos, I am hooked.
I mean, HBO does, what is it, Hard Knocks, which is a week by week
that's good.
documentary that they do. Last Chance U on Netflix about JV.
Yeah, I was very
JUCO?
interested in that one. Yeah, that's on my list.
That one's good. They have a high school version of that. I don't know if it's the same people, but they have a high school version of that. They have got there's a cheerleading one they just did on Netflix.
It's probably a confession. It's probably going to end up being football when Emily finally moves out here with me
Okay.
because she loves the Broncos.
You have
So
to pick, the Broncos. I see.
Another thing is, I think BS for free asked how ping pong's going with
how's
Brian.
How's your ping pong going?
Oh God, I've been beating his ass so good. Oh my God, so
You're glad to
good.
be back because you guys really couldn't play ping pong much at all during the shooting stuff.
Yeah, because we were just too busy. We were just way too busy. So now we've gotten back. We had some more free time. So I've just been beating his ass in ping pong, and it's been fantastic. God, it's been great.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I'll recommend it. Anybody gets to play Brian in ping pong, just go ahead and beat him. It's a lot of fun.
I can't wait to try it.
Oh yeah, you should.
So good.
As for me, I've been doing a lot of streaming lately. That's been kind of fun as a chance to.
like your usual shows that you stream, or
No, like game streaming.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
like I already have my normal Friday night streams, Friday Night Bryce, and I started a new series on that, playing through Hitman, the new Hitman games that they made.
the new ones.
Yeah, and so they've got all sorts of challenges in those games. So my goal over what will be many months is to finish all of the challenges in that game and become the ultimate assassin. But we're also doing a lot of the marbles stream. We're doing more marble
Very
streams.
disappointed in you.
That I didn't let you win. You win.
No. Every time I see you, I'm like stuck doing something with my daughter or doing something where I can't
Have her
play.
play. Have
And
her
I'm
get a
like,
make a
"God dang it,
Twitch account.
Bryce,
Make
I
her
could be playing now. I can't play. Dang it.
So I'm doing a lot of marbles and finding other random nights to do streaming stuff. It just feels good to do it and to chat with people. You know, I'm feeling some of the social stuff. And until other stuff can start happening, I just, it's good to stream. Yeah, Ben Franklin saying on one of those marble streams, someone, and I don't know who, but someone on the stream may have ingested quite a bit of marijuana and had a huge epiphany about the Scatman, which directly influenced that week's Night Attack and was very, very good. Scatman John, fucking gone too soon. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Gone too soon, Scatman John. All right, well, that is going to do it here for us on the Bizarre Briefing. Thank you for joining us on this joint edition of the program. Let's do some plugs really quickly here. I'll start with Heather. Heather, what would you like to plug here?
Facehuggins.com.
That's right.
My roommate and I make face masks. These days, I make the ear straps and I manage our social media, and that's about it. But
Okay, and these are these custom?
yeah. There's like a big long order form, and you tell us what you like, and then she makes them custom and matches up our hundreds of fabrics just for you.
I really do like the it's two different fabrics on each half.
Yeah.
And so you kind of, it looks nice. I really do dig that. That's really cool.
We
Face
have a lot of
Huggins.
spooky ones now. There's lots of shining fabric.
Oh, that's right. Because it's Halloween, or it will be Halloween soon.
It's already Halloween in my mind.
Well,
Indeed.
if you're listening to this, it's probably
It will certainly probably be on Halloween anyway. So, very cool. Corey
Yes. Let's go to C Cranfill
on Twitter.
Twitter. Yes.
Very
CCRANFILL.
That's right. C Cranfill. Check him out.
Cool.
John.
Skeptically pwned across all social media, website, blah, blah, blah.
PWNED.
Just ND. We don't believe in silent vowels.
But skeptically is spelled right.
That is spelled perfectly correctly.
Skeptically, PWND.
D. Yes.
There we go. You can find me on Twitter at Bryce, BRYCAS, and I do streaming on Friday nights here on twitch.tv/Night Attack. If you want to see this show, good luck. We do it. We try to do it near the end of the month, every month here on twitch.tv/Night Attack, and we also publish it to our website, which is bizarrebriefing.com. That's where you can find past episodes, time codes, links, and all that other good stuff. If you want to watch it on YouTube, we also post it to youtube.com/scam stuff, where you can see all of our beautiful faces. You can see some of the videos when we're talking about the videos. There's time codes there as well. And for this August-September edition of the Bizarre Briefing, thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.